The United States is so hypocritical. Many of its citizens, a lot of the veterans from the Afghanistan war or the Iraq war, have served in the Ukrainian military. Now, the United States has made many laws making it very hard for Americans to become mercenaries in the modern age because there's many private military companies that are sanctioned or on terrorist groups in the United States government, the most famous being Wagner. Now, I want to expose the hypocrisy of the United States because I believe that Americans should be fighting on neither side of this conflict. I'd also like to say shout out to all those people who are always asking why I haven't fought in the Russian military. This video will explain why I will not be fighting in the Russian military, but also exposing the hypocrisy that is the United States, allowing some of its citizens to fight for Ukraine and die for Ukraine, and not allowing others to fight for the Russians. Now, I truly believe that mercenary work is absolutely horrible, and it's not only the United States who's been allowing its soldiers or veterans to fight for the Ukrainians. In recent times, a lot of the British were also captured, and some were captured in the Kursk offensive, and they failed miserably. Now, those people were sent to jail, and they're going to do so much time in labor camps. But we're going to be sticking to Americans because I'm American, and people want to know why I'm not serving in the Russian military. By the way, guys, welcome to a new video. If you're not subscribed, please do make sure to subscribe. It costs you nothing. And if you're already watching this video, it means that you're interested in life in Russia or anything to do with Russia, or you enjoy getting some news for my life here in Russia. All right, so let's get right into this video and start talking about mercenaries. We're going to be showing videos first from mercenaries in the Ukrainian side.
All right, so far we took out 7 Russian tanks. After a long firefight, we took control of the area. Right now we're going to just kind of sweep around and see what we got left. Some stragglers, take them out, call it a day. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, baby. Yeah, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4 Russian tanks taken out.
So this guy is just proudly showing that he's been in combat and fighting for the Ukrainians. It is no secret that the Ukrainian military and the government was taken over by far-right organizations. This is open to the public. You just have to do a little bit of research. And it's my concern that the Americans actually allow Americans to serve in some of these radical units. We know that the PMC Wagner was added on a terrorist list essentially and banned from being able to be employing Americans. Americans are not allowed to join private military like those. Wagner is absolutely blacklisted by the United States. But I would say there are organizations in the Ukrainian side that should definitely be blacklisted, but that there's definitely Americans serving in them. Azov is essentially the counterpart of Wagner. If you want to say that Wagner is evil, well, we have the equivalent on the Ukrainian side, but there's been nothing said about them. On the American politicians are not saying anything. The news is not saying anything. The people are not standing up against others going to serve for them, and it just makes absolutely no sense. When men like these can just take a plane and go to Ukraine and start fighting in a foreign war and posting it on the internet, it says that there's something wrong with our government. Because if I would do that, if I were to go right now and enlist and show my combat action and decide to go visit my mother, there's definitely going to be somebody who works for a three-letter organization in the United States. They're going to want to talk with me. Okay? It is my duty to not serve a foreign military. It is my duty to not serve a country that is at war with the country that my country is at peace with. They're in a proxy war, but, you know, diplomatically speaking, they're not in total war right now, in open war. So for an American to fight the Russians, a country that America is supposed to be at peace with, this is absolute blasphemy. Now, everybody knows the Azov battalion, and their track record is just disgusting. And there's many videos that are made about them and their crimes, but again, our government does nothing to condemn them, and it does nothing to stop our people from serving them.
Azov's alleged crimes spoke to a sinister element of the group that Ukrainian authorities tried to downplay. However, there was no ignoring the fact that Azov had been created as an extremist group and carries the marks of that extremism to this day. The group's logo is an obvious red flag. Supposedly, it represents a crossed N and I standing for national idea, or the ideal of unified Ukraine. It is also a mirror image of the Nazi Wolfsangel symbol, used by several divisions of the SS and several post-war fascist groups. The use of the swastika has also been known among the group, although it is not too common. Azov members have defended it, saying that the swastika was a symbol of peace long before it was an icon of the Nazis. The swastika was indeed a peace symbol for thousands of years, and possibly had its origins in the ancient Indo-European or Aryan peoples.
Okay, so they're going to hide behind the fact that it was a peace symbol, but everybody knows what Azov is about. Again, this is one very clear reason why America is just being hypocritical and nobody says anything about it. If Wagner is evil, then so is Azov, and why is there nothing being done about it? Please remember that mercenaries have no protection under the Geneva Convention. Now I'm going to show you a group of people, 2 Americans that were captured by the Russians, and they were actually let go when they should have been on trial and somewhere in a gulag in Siberia. And I'm saying that as an American who loves America and loves our citizens, but if you're a mercenary and you're coming to Russia or Ukraine to fight in the conflict, you have no business there, you should rot in a jail cell because you essentially are a horrible person. Now, I'm going to be showing you this news interview, and just pay attention to how they treat them almost like heroes and like victims for being captured.
News exclusive with 2 American veterans who went to Ukraine to fight the Russians and were captured, spending more than 3 months in captivity. They say they were tortured. We want to warn you, some of the details are tough to hear. Whit Johnson has the story. Good morning, Whit.
George, good morning. These men knew the U.S. government did not want them to travel to Ukraine. They knew that some would question why they would put their lives on the line to fight in a foreign war. But they insist they could not stand the images of innocent Ukrainians fleeing their home. And they say despite their harrowing ordeal, they have no regrets.
There were a lot of times that I would think, I am going to die.
American military veterans Alex Druki and Andy Huynh taken into Russian custody while volunteering to fight for Ukraine.
The fact that they're interviewing them and they said, oh, they knew they weren't supposed to go. The government essentially said, don't do it. But they ended up doing it anyways, and they didn't get in trouble at all. They just came back home. It says something. This is, again, a hypocritical move by the United States government. If someone was captured by the Ukrainians, if an American was captured by the Ukrainians probably wouldn't even let him live to see the day where he goes on trial or exchange him for prisoners. This is why you don't see a lot of Americans showing their faces on the Russian side, because they know they can be persecuted, or if they are captured by the Ukrainians, they're going to get deleted. Now, this segment is really important because they say something that blows my mind. This is when they got captured, okay? This is when they got captured.
Were taken behind enemy lines. This photo, posted online by a known Russian propagandist, shows the 2 men on that journey in the back of a military truck.
A couple times we physically got beat and said, "Welcome to Russia." So that was kind of a tall sign that we were in Russia.
They woke us up at like 3 in the morning one time and just, for no reason, just beat us. They cracked 4 of my ribs for no reason.
At one point, you guys...
For no reason. For no reason. You're a mercenary. And yeah, welcome to Russia. You got captured because you wanted to fight. For you, it should have been illegal in the first place. You were told not to go. This is the thing that makes me angry. A lot of these guys who you're watching never served in the military under combat roles. These 2 guys have 0 combat experience, and they go off to say that they had no combat experience and they got captured because of this. Where was your patriotism to fight or help people when America was at war for 20 years in 3 different countries? These are the type of people that are a little bit crazy in the head that say, this country's the victim, so I want to go fight and do mercenary work, but when it's time to actually fight for the United States, it's crickets. Now, when I'm talking about the order that was published by the United States, it's S.416, to designate the Russian-based mercenary Wagner Group as a foreign terrorist organization and for other purposes. So when you see this bill and all of these things being passed in the United States against Wagner, against other private military companies that Russia has, and even against the Russian military, you see all of these things being passed against the Russian side, and you see nothing being passed against the Ukrainian side, and you see these guys who go fight, who get taken prisoner, and they come back and nothing gets done to them. You start to realize there's huge problems in the American government. There's also videos of women serving the Ukrainians. Now, this is not only male mercenaries. We also have women out there doing work for the Ukrainians. There is no limit to the amount of shame some of these Americans will go through. Now, I believe that they've gone through extensive brainwashing. A normal person would not fight for any side. Okay, a normal person, as an American, I would not choose either side. Why? Because this is not our conflict. This is something that Ukraine chose to be a proxy country in a proxy war, and this is their business. They have to handle it. For an American to illegally join either side is ridiculous, but when you see stuff like this...
There are times when it's very psychologically and morally impactful, and the only thing I think that keeps me sane is my soldiers around me.
You have this woman who thinks she's supposed to be out there in Ukraine acting like a nurse. Okay, sure, she's saving lives, but guess what? It's none of her business. It's still mercenary work. Now I'm going to be showing you a video of what a mercenary from the United States looks like when he's dressed to work for the Russians. A lot of guys already know this guy. He popped up on Telegram, and yeah, as you can see, he's an Air Force veteran. I am 100% sure he has no combat experience as well. And there is a level of brainwashing that goes on for both sides, like I'm saying. Both sides, when they get mercenaries, their mercenaries are thinking why and why. They need to justify the reason why they should be doing this. But the thing is, if this guy shows his face, that's it. He's never coming back to the United States. It's over for him.
Served 10 years in the U.S. Air Force, some years in the Massachusetts Air National Guard, and I did 2 years as a city councilor. And when I got involved in politics, I zoomed out into the international level of politics, and you really kind of stop and pause and think about what's going on here, and you feel like you have to do something about it. So I came in January, I spent some time in Moscow, then I came to Donetsk. I was in contact with some of the folks in Pyatnashka, the International Brigade in Donetsk, and I served there for 3 months. And then after that, I had some friends that went on to serve with the Ministry of Defense, the 137th Brigade, where we're here. And they said, well, come on, it's great. And so I decided to join them, and here.
So he joined the regular army after being in Russia for some time. But all I have to say is this. If you look at how he talks, it's much different than the other people. He's a lot more collected and calm. Now, there's not many Russians who, there's not many mercenaries for the Russian side who show their face because it's absolutely dangerous. I don't think that these men could be taken alive by the Ukrainians. We covered this in the beginning. Those Americans who were captured by the Russians are very lucky that they were not executed or sent to a gulag in Siberia somewhere. Now, by gulag, I just mean a jail, guys. We know that the gulag doesn't exist anymore. But anyways, these are the topics that really bother me because a lot of people ask me, why are you not serving in the Russian military? Well, guess what? Even if I wanted to, even if it was something that I was able to do because my body's not, if my body wasn't broken, if my family was not growing here in Russia, perhaps I would think about it. But guess what? It's absolutely prohibited. It's a life-ruining move for you. It's not if you join the Ukrainians, but it is if you join the Russians. Somehow it's turned out that the Russians are the enemy. Somehow it's turned out that Wagner is the evil one and Azov, these Nazis, are the good guys. Somebody really blurred history. Somebody really blurred even present time to make this lunacy reality. But my friends, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And remember, please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be producing more live videos this weekend. I'm going to be making a new video of me and my wife handing out food and helping someone, another Russian, restore his house. When I talk about these topics, I'm not doing it out of hate for anything or to get political. It's just something that happens in my life because I'm a veteran living in Russia. A lot of people, like I said, ask me, why haven't you joined the Russian military? And these are the things that happen in Russia, so I talk about them. Again, I am not joining the Russian military, by the way, to clarify, because my body is broken and I'm trying a new life here in Russia in peace. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.